Hey everybody, welcome to Pale in Comparison, a proud member of the Doof Network. In this podcast, my sister uses her knowledge of the Otherverse to take a look at Pact, Wildbow's biggest fake out, and I try to not give away any spoilers. I'm Jenny, and Malia convinced me to read Worm.
I'm Malia, and Jenny convinced me to read everything else. This episode, we are covering Null, chapters 9.5 and 9.6. Again, before we get into that, however, I'd like to issue a spoiler warning. This podcast is filled with pale spoilers. If you don't know what the nightmare market is and don't want us to tell you, stop now, read Pale, and come back to this podcast. As for Pact, there will be full spoilers to the chapters we are covering.
All right. I guess in that, Malia, you listened to me and Mom's episode?
I did.
How close do you think she got, or how good do you think she did?
She seemed to, actually kind of get stuff that was going on. I really liked her, or in the drains in the shower theory. I
tried to tell her what I tried to tell her what actually happened. She was like,
no.
She's like, I reject your silly theory, and I'm sticking with my own
knowledge of past events. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's fun. It was pretty fun to record. I'm sorry you got sick.
Me too.
And I hope that you're starting to feel mostly better, at least. So
mostly,
right? Mostly.
Yeah.
Okay. That sucks, but starting to improve. So perfect. This is great because I already did all my summarizations. I don't have to do any of them again. So what?
Woo.
In terms of writing, I'll still read them again. So the chapter summary for this episode. And realizing that he's an other, Blake goes back to the witch to talk about what happened. Afterward, he's given a vision of Rose seeing her parents. Blake is given various other visions as the dreams start to wear on him. Blake finds being held off by a forgotten god. Blake is able to push through and gets back to the factory. Blake is able to hold his own against by using the sunlight, basically. And Blake realizes he needs to create in order to go against So he starts creating a warding diagram using his and Rose's story. Tries to drop the roof on him, but he manages to escape. He returns to his apartment and then goes to Rose's house. He finds he's stuck behind the mirror. What did you think of these chapters?
They were good and sad.
Yeah. Good and sad.
Good and sad. Yeah, the plot's progressing and becoming increasingly worried about everyone. It's nice that Blake's officially back. Yeah.
Woo! Blake is back. All right. So Blake returns to the witch to talk about what happened. She gives him some information about the tarot cards that were drawn for him and Rose. And she also gives him information about a possible escape route and reminds him that he needs to hold on to his humanity.
Yeah. So I thought it was kind of interesting and good that Blake's able to take comfort from the fact that his past wasn't real. I feel like... Rose is just lying or whatever, right? But I feel like Rose was a lot more upset about her existence not having happened. Whereas Blake is wait, none of that awful shit happened. Fucking great.
Yeah.
Which is awesome and freeing. And he's obviously not completely fine with everything, but it's nice that in this moment he's oh, cool. That shit didn't happen.
Yeah.
And then his tattoo has grown. The thing I don't understand the most about this tattoo is that it makes noises when he moves. The branches cracked audibly, and I don't get that.
Okay. So is he just tattooed or
No. The tattoos are the spirits that are binding him up and keeping him a thing.
Okay, but he looks pretty normal, except he just has crazy tattoos.
And his eye's fucked up, and his hand has a crack in it, and some of the tattoos are more 3D.
Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I understanding this wrong?
I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, I guess he could. I don't know if he's just literally a tree man. Is he a tree? He talked about tattoos a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And growing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're pretty wild. But I mean, what do you mean by 3D, I guess?
Well, he was like, some of the ones, I don't remember where his hand or something that had been like hurt and fixed a lot were like gaining the texture of trees more than his skin.
Okay.
I hate that, like, it's like I finally kind of get what the tattoos are, but I still don't, apparently. The birds are kind of creepy. Like, I think I really like them and they're really cute, but they're also creepy. I think that I imagine them with like really like comically large eyes, which is part of the problem. Like, it's very obvious what they're staring at, and that's not really what birds look like.
Yeah.
But I just picture them with these very like almost googly eyes, just like looking.
Googly eyes. You think that Blake did that awesome tattoo and put fucking googly eyes on the birds?
Well, just now they have like very like circle eyes
What?
with like a black dot in the center,
So
and
they
they're
looked
just
normal,
staring at him.
and then they looked normal before with the
Yeah.
tattoo, and for some reason, like this weird ass goof spirit went in and was like, "I'm gonna make him have googly eyes," and went in and fucked up all the birds' eyes so that they're like,
Yeah, like staring. Google.
So when he moves his arm around, do the like googly eyes act like googly eyes?
Like jiggle? No, they don't, because they're the birds' real eyes.
So they look like real birds and real branches. Everything's realistic except for the fucking googly eyes.
Yeah. And it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, that sounds creepy as fuck.
Because you just see these like eyes from behind the branches and stuff. And they're just like watching and silent. And like, are they friends with Blake?
Can someone make some fan art of like the you know the realism, super realistic, like, or
We
like
need some
cool like
chickadees
watercolor
with googly eyes.
Yeah, just like cool watercolor tattoo with branches and realistic looking birds that have fucking googly eyes. I just all right, Malia.
Well, wait,
I
so
mean,
these birds, I was like, oh, they're like friends, they're like helping, but maybe they're not helping. I mean, they're helping, but like for now or something. Like one of the birds is like looking over at the witch's house and he like pulls his sleeve over it, and I was like, that's rude. Like it's checking stuff out. Like, what's wrong with the bird?
I mean, it's being nosy. I don't know.
I don't know. What if
Okay, well,
like
on
you
one
know,
hand,
like
you
a
said that
video
they're
game?
really creepy fucking looking because they have these googly eyes, and then you're on the other hand, you're like, why doesn't Blake trust the creepy googly eye bird?
Yeah, well, Tashlet's really creepy looking and she's cool.
Yeah.
But like what if these birds are like in video games? I'm trying to remember exactly what. There's some game where like you can turn around and look at your character and it'll like look in the direction of the thing that you're missing. It might be like Zelda or something, that Link will like look toward the thing that you can't fucking figure out as a hint. And I feel like these birds are like that. These birds are going to check out shit, and you should let them do it.
Are they going to be like the what is it called? I don't remember its name. Just because you said Zelda, that little like fairy thing.
Navi?
Yeah. Be like Navi.
Hey, listen. Hey, listen. Maybe.
I don't know. One thing I have to say about Mom's episode, Malia, is she did not have any like qualms or issues with making bold and specific predictions. So, like,
what do you mean? Are they gonna be like Navi? Like,
I don't know. I'm not saying that has to be a prediction. I'm just saying that it just reminded me. You're gonna have to be a little bit more bold, a little more bold with these predictions.
Okay.
Mom set the bar. She set it high.
She always does.
She does.
So
they go to the witch's house.
I'm really sorry, everyone. Okay.
Don't die.
I am the one, I'm thinking back, that's usually like sick and dying. And I don't think you've had like an episode where you were like coughing the whole time. What does that say about my immune system?
It says that you have been in law school and studying this whole time, and your stress level is up, and that's not as good for your immune system anyway. Okay. Chronic stress is really bad for your immune system and just for your body in general, which is unfortunate for most people in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why they're really like rich and like the really rich people like look so young and healthy and stuff, besides being able to afford it to exercise and eat right and do all that stuff. I'm not saying their lives aren't stressful at all, but they have a lot less stress and overall, generally
That
speaking.
makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so they go see the witch, and she is cool, and Blake's like, I have the gift of knowledge, and so he just like tells her everything. And he's like, oh, you knew that I was like an other or whatever. And she's like, yeah, I kind of thought so. And then we do the tarot thing. And so first off, like, on the one hand, my bad, I misremembered that it's not that Rose was the high priestess, it's that Rose or Blake's left hand was the high priestess or whatever. So that means Rose can't get the high priestess in our card Pale Pact tarot deck, and
That's
she's
right.
obviously going to get the fucking chariot.
She got the chariot and the hanged man, right?
Yeah, but she's gonna get the chariot in the pack.
Okay.
Because Snowdrop is still gonna get the hangman, and then Avery needs something else, right? So maybe Avery's gonna be like the sun. I like that a lot.
That makes sense, actually.
Yeah. Although the Page of Suns also probably makes sense there, so I don't know.
Yeah, that sure's true.
We don't know what I guess we could keep the. Oh no, yeah, we want the four suits to maybe be the four judges or something. Because there's pages, and I don't know if we could stick a page into like the Page of Pentacles or something, making the Page of Suns. Anyway,
yeah, I'm gonna let's move on. I don't remember all of this just like discussion on the tarot cards. Anyway, so let's talk about what is in the story. So
yes,
so the witch talks about talks with Blake about the cards that they drew, and you're gonna have to remind me about which hand, basically. But Blake has the High Priestess and the Fool. Rose has the Chariot and the Hangman.
And so the right hand, left hand thing was really kind of fun. I mean, it was cool when it was first introduced, and then it's nice seeing. Sorry, my throat. It's nice seeing it used here with, or like explained, kind of, as to what it might mean. So the right hand is, for most people, it's your active hand. It's how you like interact with the world, how you present yourself. It's fixed in the present. But when things are overwhelming and you need both hands, your left hand will come in, right? So if you're like stressed out, whatever, but also when your hands are working together, like that's when you're strongest. And like that's not what I thought of. I thought about the whole like sinister left hand thing. And so I like that it's like using your hands. And so, Blake is the Fool. Blake is the 0 card. Blake is he's like not real, quote unquote. And he's charging off into the, oblivion kind of a thing.
Sure.
And when he's stressed, his intuition is what helps him get through shit. And there's this like hint in the background about like maybe if he's not under stress, that like maybe his intuition could be bad. But we haven't seen that yet because Blake was created to just go. So not clear. So Rose sorry. Okay. I thought that the Hanged Man interpretation here was really interesting because usually I see it in terms of sacrifice. But the idea of like patience and waiting to act is really interesting, and I think that also, makes sense. Suspension, just, waiting, but also being stuck is like very much what Rose's situation was. And it's important that we didn't get this read. I mean, I guess, the Rose was created to replace Blake theory still fits with this very much. But it feels more significant knowing that it was the opposite, that Blake was created to like give Rose more time. And then the chariot, like, if I was fucking Elliot, I would probably pull so much out of this because the whole Deep Impact is fun and wild. But I don't, it's like, this sounds bad and I can't quite put the pieces together, right? So like the chariot is about victory, the chariot is about control, the chariot is about overcoming obstacles. And so when Rose is stressed or something, she that comes into play more. I mean, I think that now the Hanged Man might not even apply to Rose. I wonder if you did a reading of her now, if the chariot would even be like her right hand or something. Because she's no longer stuck.
Okay.
But she's just the fact that like Rose has been infected or whatever by conquest radiation. And she's, her card is conquest being pulled by two sphinxes, which like Isadora, like what? Like I feel like there's something here and I don't know what it is. Yeah.
Okay. Then they talk about like possible escape routes.
Yeah, that part was confusing because she was just sort of like, I saw some images and then I didn't want to. And then, I mean, it helps Blake because he's like, oh, I'll go back to where I saw visions and whatever. But yeah, it felt kind of confusing. And then she's like, well, I should ask for a gift because of the whole not wanting to owe people things. And he gives the sweatshirt, but then she gives it back, which is really sweet. And is like, do what you can to hold on to your humanity. And yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty great.
Yes. And then she's like, wait, are you right-handed? And he's like, no. Or he's like, yes, I'm right-handed. And she's like, well, is Rose right-handed? And he's like, yeah, Rose is right-handed. But like something mirrors something that's weird.
Yeah. So that's pretty interesting, I guess. What do you think about that?
I don't know. It feels like one of those things that's real significant and I can't quite figure it out. And I might just blame it on the COVID, but
sure,
I can't get there.
That Rona does. There is fog. You have brain fog with that.
Yeah, like something about. I mean, I was like, I mean, I guess if they cut Rose's reflection off and then fucked with it, it should be her like reflection or whatever, and so it should use its left hand to do things or whatever, and like that's Blake, but like I just didn't take it that literally or something. I don't know. Okay.
Well, then after he leaves, Blake is given a vision of Rose meeting their parents and baby sister.
Yeah. This was nice, and Rose is like, a damaged, heartless person. But I thought it was the whole like, you need to sign a statement that you won't take any money from the profits or sale of the property, and you need to apologize to me or whatever, like, was kind of great. Like, I'd be very suspicious if I was her too. But I love that moment where, mom is like, here, just hold Ivy. Like, here, just take here, baby, here.
Yeah.
And that like really helps fix things. Ivy, like the, the mom is like, help us not make the same mistakes with Ivy. Like, you can, like, this is still your sister, and like, we want you to have a good relationship with her or whatever. And Rose is like, murmur, maybe. And then the mom hugs both of them, and that was really sweet. I mean, in general, found this to be like nice and hopeful, but Rose's face during it is like plotting or whatever, and that sounds bad.
Well, I mean, she's probably pretty suspicious.
Right. Like, yeah. I hope this is just like a nice thing, because it seems nice and like something that Rose could use in her life.
It's probably true. Okay. Then he starts to have other visions that start to wear on him, especially the one with his friends.
So the one I hated the most was the first one. The astrologer stared at the burning building, tears streaming down her face. Like, that was fucking devastating, and I hate the sisters, and it was so awful, and I'm so upset. Yeah, I think it's interesting that they, like, I'm not sure if we're coming back to Toronto or if we're coming back to, or like what will be drawn into the ending of this story. Because it feels like we're getting ready for the final stage.
Okay.
And if this is the last we see of Diana, that's going to be like so sad and awful. But yeah, I hate it.
Well, we'll just have to see.
Yeah, and then there's one about Fel and his niece, and that one's also sad. And then he realizes he might never get to ride his motorcycle, and that's really sad. And, then I guess and then he has one where he sees Carl, and it's like, Carl's real? Like, what? And I don't know what to do with that. And I mean, I guess Alexis is real, but yeah, I don't know. And then we get this big one followed by a couple little ones. So Mags is there and she knocks on the door and she delivers 3 declarations of war against the 3 underlings of Rose, which is stressful and awful and bad. They also are like, Rose is sleeping because she was up all night, something about a barber. And I'm like, God damn it. God, why do you need to be the lord of this town? Why don't you just let this go? Because she's corrupted.
Rose.
And she's Rose.
Who's she been? So you think the corruption is from
Conquest?
Gotcha.
Or not entirely, but it accentuated things. I don't know. Okay. But yeah, so then Evan has been kept alive through quote unquote transfusions, whatever that means. Tiff's also hurt. We see her with her nose bleeding and she looks like she's dying. And I don't know if that's a stress thing or she got into a fight or what that was. But that was stressful.
Yeah.
And then there's this part that's sort of funny, or I thought was funny, because Alexis is like, I'm gonna go smoke, and he's like, Ty's like, you can't do it in the house. If you burn this place down, and she's like, I'm not going outside because they're gonna kill us or whatever, and she walks off. And the ending of the thought, if you burn this place down, was probably we will have nowhere to go. But I wanted it to be the demon under the house will get
out. Of course.
Although if she didn't tell them about the Barbatorium, Rose probably didn't tell them about the demon under the house. So yeah. I thought it was sweet that Ty called her real Mags. But yeah, they just look awful. And I'm kind of like, you should just leave. I get that Alexis trusts Rose or whatever, but Ty and Tiffany, just leave.
Yeah.
Just go away. Why are you here?
Well, maybe they trust Alexis. So
yeah.
They're like, well,
it just sucks.
It does.
Oh, also, I realized the other day when I was listening to some Deep Impact or something, I don't remember, that Green Eyes, I think, is the girlfriend of Nick's son who disappears or whatever because she loses all of her connections because her family gets eaten by or whatever. She doesn't have enough tethering her to the world. And so I wanted to put that prediction in the podcast officially, that we might never know. That's what I think.
Pretty good prediction. We could have waited till the end for the bold and specific prediction, but that's all right. You're just going to have to come up with another bold and specific prediction.
Well, I already made this one in the Discord, so.
Oh, that's right. I forgot that you did. All right. Well, I like it.
Thank you.
It's juicy. All right. So then Blake is trying to find his way, and he arrives to see basically battling with the Forgotten God, or the gods basically stopping from getting any further. Blake decides to leap into because fuck it, briefly praying to the god, and he just happens to find that hyena, and he climbs back through the fucking hole into the factory.
Yeah, this is wild.
Never seen his luck so good before.
This is wild. The finding the hyena was sort of funny and kind of great. I liked the whole sunshine god thing, fighting and helping Blake out, because he worships it and stuff. Yeah. I don't know why I didn't expect this, but Or being there was a surprise to me, and this being how he gets out was kind of a surprise. There being a literal hole was not what I thought was there, but it's fine. I guess it's not. I don't know. I don't get it. It's fine.
You just sound like you're in pain.
I'm really dying. But it's okay. Because, yeah, my sections of notes for the next bit, I don't have a lot to say because it's just action, which is fun to read, but like I find the outcomes to be important. And I mean, like they'll talk about the diagram and stuff, but like a lot of this is just like, yeah, it was cool, and oh, it was harrowing, and then he did it. And
He did it.
so
Woo!
yeah, but it was, I don't know, just like, yeah, he's back for round 3. Blake v. Ur, pretty solid.
It's pretty solid. So Blake stands off against using the crisscrossing rays of light to defend himself. He creates a diagram using his and Rose's story and his super great art skills against Ur starts trying to drop the roof on him, so Blake rushes through the exit and manages to break through the windows.
Yeah, I think my biggest disappointment with this fight was that I don't think we saw the moats. At least I don't remember seeing the little babies. I thought we would. But yeah, it's interesting having been in Or's head a little bit, like seeing the way they're developing strategy and, you know, like deciding to break the roof and like, you know, yeah, it must be really desperate to do that because that's letting more light in. And I guess maybe there's still enough darkness to live in if he, you know, does that fast enough. But just, yeah, the desperation, I liked the jumping through the reflective surface of the hyena to try to get Blake, and Blake just, you know, the trial and error of both of these beings fighting each other is fun.
Yeah.
As Ur tries something and then Blake tries something and learns about the light reflecting off of the hyena and how that helps. And oh fuck, if this side, you know, reflects on me, then Ur can get me. And so just, yeah. Still don't quite understand how he managed to get out. He just sort of like is a mad dash and gets out, but
Yeah.
it was exciting.
It's exciting still.
Yeah, I really like the story of himself and Rose, and it's sad and interesting seeing the differences, you know, like my parents don't care about me, Rose's do, but I had Paige and Molly and Rose didn't, and just sort of like the little details. And it's interesting how that was enough to really fuck up Ur's whole deal.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, him jumping out and being like, I've won, like, I know how to beat you, I'm gonna tell everyone else how to beat you, is kind of great and leaves me wondering, like, okay, so are we gonna see Ur again? Because this was, yeah, like round 3, Blake has decided that he decisively wins, and like I could see Wildbow being like, yep, and he was right, and other people will deal with it, or whatever, or he'll come back at the very end or something. But yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know what like what if we never see Ur again after this in the story?
Unless it's clear that Blake doesn't tell anyone about how to defeat it and stuff. I think I would assume that people, like the nights someone like that manages to go out and deal with it.
Okay.
Or that it's still there and that's
it's still trying to
Pale 3. Yeah. Or Pact 3.
Yeah. Ooh, spooky. Well, Blake goes back to his old apartment and washes up in the sink, and he says goodbye to his old life.
Yeah, so I was trying to figure out when Blake entered the mirror world, and I think like crawling up out of the drains somehow, or like that or something, because it doesn't seem like he was in mirrors in the drains, separated from everyone. But here it's like dark, still, silent Toronto, and stuff. But the first time I read it, it didn't occur to me to think about it all. So I also was confused as to why Blake didn't just take a fucking shower. But it also is weird that he doesn't see anyone else, and he just sort of shows up at the house. Yeah, like there were little clues and signs.
Yeah.
And I just didn't get it, which is funny. Because the way he phrases it was without stopping to take an actual shower, and that made me feel like he didn't have time. But he totally, I mean, I don't know, I think he had time. He had 15 minutes. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like he probably had time if he could have gotten to the shower.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's hard when you, like, are scared of getting sucked down the drain.
It's fair.
That's fair.
Yeah. It's treacherous in there.
It's pretty treacherous. It's rough. It's rough going. Um, so yeah. So he went there, washed up as best he could, and then went down to the garage.
Yeah, the bike. The bike is gone. That was sad. Yeah, he says earlier in the chapter, like, or maybe I don't remember, like his bike was rad and humanity is meh kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
That like this loss of this thing that he had worked so hard for was really hard. And it's interesting because like he didn't actually, like, those were all memories that weren't real. But it still was his bike and it still mattered.
Mm-hmm.
And feeling like this is like a sacrifice to the universe and a test about his future or something is not being able to ride the bike and being worried about the drains being able to pull him back, which is freaky. Yeah,
that's scary.
I kind of feel like they could if he loses more connections and shit, but I don't think it's like this is the last test. I don't really agree, but it's it's a scary thought.
It's a scary thought. So he shows up to Rose and his friends discussing using the barber, and he makes himself known to them and is pretty like struck by the fact that they see him as a threat. And he finds himself stuck behind the mirror.
I'm glad Rose tells them that Barbatorum's a demon.
Yeah.
But like, fuck. And it sucks because Rose is like, we can control it. And do you trust me? And Alexis is like, yep, but I don't know why. And I'm like, wow, I hate this. Maybe you should question that more. And then Rose casually refers to the house spirit, which, like, what the fuck is that? They're like, something's here. The house spirit is telling me. And I'm like, what the fuck is a house spirit? So I don't know if that's a new addition or what. And the whole is someone or something or something or someone. And she says something. And I was like, wow, rude. Like, but I guess she doesn't remember she was another and has no sympathy for them at all.
Probably not.
Yeah, fucking Rose. And Evan like kind of jumps up toward him, which was so cute, and I'm sad. And this is sad, and I'm sad.
I know, like Evan's the only one that cares and isn't scared of Blake.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, the like googly eyes are pretty freaky.
Is this gonna be like how Mom and I talked about like demonic haircuts? Like, I don't know. As ridiculous as that was, I feel like the googly eyes thing just seems
yeah, I just can't quite like not picture like birds with like huge fucking eyes.
That's really funny to me.
Very circular, like staring.
It does seem really creepy.
Right.
It does.
Like, I think the pupils or whatever would be a little bit smaller than a googly eye, if that makes it creepier.
That definitely makes it creepier.
Yeah, like that.
Big eyeballs and small, teeny little pupils.
Just staring.
Yeah, that's definitely creepier. Yeah. Jeez. Yeah. So, how does it's time for our pale in comparison section? Trying to think on what to. Did anyone get sucked down the drain? Trying to think. We could talk about the tarot cards. Blech. The cards. We could talk about the fucking cards.
How?
I don't know. But like, weren't they into that for like pale? Didn't Nicolette use some of those?
Oh, for figuring out. Yeah. She might use some for augury stuff or for item identification stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's also the power of art saving Blake, which feels like a Verona.
That's true. I think that's kind of cool. Talk about how quick do you think Verona would have figured that out in comparison?
I mean, that's not like the Kenneteers are like next level.
Of course.
Brilliance. So
I didn't say it was fair.
Yeah. I mean, and as an artiste or whatever, I think Verona would have thought of that pretty fast. Yeah, it was interesting that Mom was trying to figure out which Kenneteer we were reading the perspective of and decided on Verona. I guess,
Yeah.
it is like darker and creepier. But
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. And the funny thing is too, she called me up before and was she was like, "Who's Null?" She thought that was she's like the name of the person's always at the top, and I was like, well, yeah, but there's still like a chapter. No, that was funny. But yeah, I think Verona would have probably she'd probably be like a fantastic person to pick for that. Like to see just like, I mean, just a practitioner that focuses on art. I feel like that would be kind of interesting.
That'd be really cool, yeah.
Verona, I mean, she does a lot of art, but I don't think she quite like, I mean, I don't think that she quite counts as like an artist practitioner.
Right. I mean, she doesn't really like, use it. Like she draws diagrams, but I can't think of her using it in a lot of other ways.
Yeah. I agree. I think that would be cool. All right, Malia, you got to deliver big. Get ready, okay? I know you've got stuff prepared. I know it. It's deep down, okay? You got to get a bold and specific prediction going. Let's do it.
Okay, so next chapter is an interlude, and this feels like another willing into existence prediction, as opposed to like definitely 100%. And I've already made this prediction before, but I think that this next interlude is gonna be Rose's backstory. It would be a great fucking time for it. And yeah.
Okay. It's just like do you think it'll be in Rose's perspective, or and do you think like her whole backstory, or just like something relatively recent, or do you think you'll see like her and like Grandma Rose, or like
I think like, well, so this would either probably be from Rose's perspective or like Ms. Lewis's perspective or something, but the period of Rose like becoming the heir, and heir is also not the right word there legally, but it's fine. You only have heirs if you die without a will. And like Blake being created and all that stuff, like the 4 months for Rose, right? And I mean, here's another bold and specific prediction that like maybe doesn't it all make sense?
That's perfect.
I think Molly never existed.
Okay. All right. I like it.
I'm trying to square the fact that Molly, or that Rose was declared heir in her timeline, like the night of or whatever, not Molly, but like she now knows that Molly like has died and whatever. And so maybe Molly was a fabrication in Blake's memories, and now I guess the memories of some of her their relatives. I'm just like I want to know what happened during those 4 months, and I don't get it. I mean, Molly never talked, right? Is what Mag said. Like, and maybe part of it is that she can't because of the weird mass illusion on everyone's memories, including Mags's. And Mags has like made this echo exist that like wasn't ever really a thing or something. I'm really obsessed with Molly and the demon under the house. But yeah, Molly. so yeah, so I think the next one will be Rose's perspective or one of the lawyers' perspectives, telling us about how Barbatorum was used, etc., to create Blake.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah. Or it'll be fucking like Johannes or something. I don't know that that fits with like the theme of this arc, but yeah.
Okay. At least not that you can see.
That's true.
All right. Last.
So I also have another really wild prediction that is
not true. Keep it going. Keep it going. Let's do it.
All right. Here's another one that's like stupid. But what if Blake is Johannes?
What?
I just can't get over the fact that Johannes has a fucked up eye, and so does Blake.
That, I mean, obviously that means they have to be the same person.
And like
That makes sense.
like Johannes is time traveled or something, because like we don't know how he got the domain, and maybe it has something to do with time fuckery. He also has an angel familiar, which is like the inverse of Rose.
True. Okay, how does Rose come into this? And like, okay, like,
the last like 2 arcs is gonna be Blake entering into some sort of time vortex and being like, I am Johannes. And like that's why he knows to fill the little kids with rats and dogs, because he's filled with birds and sticks. And I don't know how he's gonna get the Pied Piper thing, but it'll be fun.
Oh damn, Malia! I thought of another bold and specific prediction, although it doesn't work as well when I make it. But just think about it. It's filled with sticks.
That Blake's a fetch, or that the dogs are gonna eat Blake. And play fetch with
Okay,
Blake.
and think about that. If Blake's a fetch, what do dogs like to do?
Fetch.
Fetch. So what if Blake's actually made to combat Johannes directly?
Interesting.
Like, what is a better contrast for like an angelic dog than like a demon stick boy, right?
Yeah, that's pretty bait right there.
That's it. I mean, I hate, like, I'm not going to spoil it, but like, you know, basically can just end the podcast now, you know, figured it out.
It's really good.
It's pretty good.
These are great predictions. I should get COVID more often.
Yeah. No, not the COVID more often, but you should make, why you think your brain is just like, woo!
Fried. Yeah.
Just how you're just like, fuck it. Let's just like, bam, bam, bam. This is it. This is gonna
hurt my
shit.
percentage a lot.
Who cares? Who cares, Malia? You're gonna be fine. Don't worry. No one cares. They just want the entertainment value. All right. Even though it's not fair, I'm gonna task Malia on coming up with the next discussion question. We could always skip one if we need to. Because I think in the beginning we were like, we'll occasionally do discussion questions, and we've done one almost every time. I think we've like maybe skipped one or twice. But we're gonna go over our really weird previous discussion question, which, if y'all don't remember, it was, have you drunk your own urine and why? I've got to admit, guys, there were not as many answers as I expected, because like I felt like no would have been real easy. And the fact that like not everybody just commented no makes me think that like a lot of our listeners have got some pretty interesting habits or things that they're hiding. I mean, you know what? You do you know, but just make sure you're staying hydrated with regular water. And I mean, probably not good for you, but you know what? That's cool. But for those who actually, I mean, we did have a couple people say no, which is kind of a relief, if I'm going to be honest. So we're going to go over our answers. Starting with Tommy B, who just says no.
My tallest doesn't actually answer the question for himself, but they say that they know a guy who thinks he might have accidentally caught a bit of backsplash while peeing, and that guy thought it tasted surprisingly good, but he was too scared to ever really try it to see. And my tallest doesn't know how strong of a stream you'd need to have it bounce off the urinal and into your mouth. So he doesn't, or they don't really believe it, but it's so weird and specific and unprompted that they're pretty sure that the guy believes it. So that's fun.
Yeah, I mean, if you're diabetic, you can have sugar like come out in your urine. So that's not good if he has sweet pea. Which is, yeah, calling someone a sweet pea, I guess, has different gives it different connotations. But it's so dumb, so stupid. I'm sure it wouldn't taste like good, but it would probably taste sweet. But yeah, so if you have sweet urine, you might want to go to the doctor because that's a real bad fucking sign. Because holy shit, I don't know how high your blood sugar has to be for your urine to start tasting sweet, but like I'm assuming pretty fucking high, and then you're probably gonna go into like diabetic ketoacidosis, which that's like really fucking bad. So go to the doctor.
Go to the doctor.
Yeah. Our next person is Borble, who said, no, absolutely not. But I once did taste my urine moistened toilet paper because I was curious what it tasted like, and never again. So congratulations, Borble. You don't have that high blood sugar, at least. So you're either not diabetic or you're controlling your diabetes well.
I also think it's just so funny that they say absolutely not, but also I've tasted urine.
Yeah, like absolutely
like,
not.
Willingly
Okay,
tasted
once.
it, but I would absolutely not drink it. Like,
Yeah.
I love that.
Like, okay, yeah. I know.
Also,
like,
thank you for your honesty, because like I love this.
Yeah, that was a great answer. Thank you, Borble.
Beleg Tall says no because that's gross. So,
and yep, you're absolutely right. Hobo Demon, which that's a great name. I have not, but I would if my own warm pee were what I needed to use to melt snow at the summit of Mount Fuji to quench a powerful mountain climbing thirst that packing so light as to not include water would somehow not avoid. Which that is very specific. Only Mount Fuji. Only the pee to melt the snow. I mean, just bring some water. Or bring like a pack of matches or like a flint and fire starter, something like other than your urine. Because I mean, honestly, it's probably gonna. I mean, if it's that fucking cold up there, your pee is probably gonna freeze anyway. So like, yeah. But I like that answer.
And then last but not least, Maisie1, who says, normally they always try to make an effort to answer the discussion question whenever they're caught up on the podcast, but for this one, they're just going to plead the fifth, especially since my not-so-secret identity has leaked. So
I have no idea what you're talking about.
That's a cryptic.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know any of these people. I feel like
deflection.
I don't know what you're talking about, Macy1, but I mean,
you could have just said no.
You could have just said no. Yeah, I mean, plead the fifth. That's pretty damning right there. Could have just said no. That definitely means like yes, you drink your pee. It's fine.
It's
fine. What? No judgments. We don't know you guys, so it's fine. On that beautiful note, have you thought of a discussion question, or should we just skip this week, Malia?
I've thought of one, and I'm not sure. So based on the whole Blake is Johannes from the past, future, whatever, how, like, I guess, would real-time travel be possible in the Otherverse, and how would it work? Like, I feel like maybe this will, like, get the smart people thinking.
That's true.
And speculating, unless they just describe the exact way that Blake does it.
That's true.
Because, I mean, hey, we got chronomancers, right? And we know that that's sort of largely an illusion, but they can maybe also
do the real stuff, at least.
Right. And so there's chronomancers in this town where Blake and an angel dog and Johannes are like, let's make this happen. What do you think?
Hey, sure, let's do it. This is terrible, but actually, I mean, I don't even know. I'm not necessarily saying this is a discussion question. I'm just going to ask you this, Malia. And I hate to say that it is related to urine, especially since we've been talking about urine too much. But it did make me think. I had a discussion with some coworkers, because we work in a hospital, and one of our procedures that we do is placing like neph tubes, or like nephrostomy tubes, which basically like is a tube going into your kidney to help drain urine. And somehow we just got on the topic of like, if you were going to be splashed with urine, would you rather it be warm or cold? Okay. And like So I'm asking
So-
you, Malia.
I want it. Okay, wait. How much of a splash?
Okay, that's
Are we
fair.
talking like SeaWorld? Are we talking like
No, not like
what,
drenched. Just like
what level of like priest on Easter Sunday? Is it like Father Terry with his like palm frond that would just like fucking
what a weird fucking comparison.
people in the face? Or is it like the ones before?
Okay, Malia,
with,
you're gonna
like
have to
the
add some more
ball on the
context to
stick?
people. Like, are gonna just think like
The
we had
ball on the
priests
stick
peeing
that
on
was
us.
just like no, okay. So for Easter they throw holy water on everyone, right? And so some of them are like real stingy. Some of them are real stingy and have this like rod with the little ball on the end that they dip in the water and kind of fling. And like maybe you get a drop, like maybe, right? But then we had this one priest who would get this big wooden bowl, and he would get this like palm frond, like not like a coconut palm, but like just like very like a shit ton of leaves, and he would just like whip it around.
He would bless the shit out of everyone. Everyone in that congregation would be like so fucking blessed with holy water. No one got stingy, which is great because so many other times you're just waiting and like the priest will come by, you know, and like you're just like trying to see if you get a drop. You know, do you get any drop of holy water? And you're like, no, they missed me. Dang it. I didn't get blessed. But with that guy, you knew you're gonna get
pretty great.
Super blessed.
Yeah.
Thanks for making that comparison to urine splashes, Malia. Thanks a lot.
So like what level?
What the fuck? Okay, I don't know if you've ever been splashed with fucking bodily fluids, Malia, but it's gonna be more than that. Unfortunately. Yes.
More than Father Terry?
Yeah. It's not on your face, but like think of it more like concentrated, like okay. But here, we'll set up the scenario so it's a little bit more like, you know, okay. So I'm thinking in terms of my from that procedure, as long as, you know, they didn't have a kidney infection, like coming out of that tube, it was sterile urine, at least. So it's sterile. So we'll say like a urine cup full, which is still really fucking a lot, but like just like onto your like a splash on your pant leg or something.
My thought is that maybe the cold urine wouldn't smell as much, but also
okay.
Maybe hospitals are so air conditioned that maybe it would just be like cold and awful.
Yeah.
But no,
I mean,
yeah, we'll say cold.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely went with cold too. Because like to me, if it's warm, it makes me feel like someone's like straight up like
beat on you,
pissed on my leg. Yeah. Like right then. I had someone say warm because it'd be more comfortable. Which I thought was hilarious and just wrong. And then I had another coworker which said warm because they were thinking if it was cold, it would have time to grow bacteria in it, which I'm like, that's interesting. But in this scenario, I'm saying it was in a urine cup from the nephrostomy and there was a lid on it. And so there wasn't additional, like, so it was a sterile environment until it got splashed. But
yeah,
that's what I think. I mean, yeah, like it's going to be gross regardless. I can tell you, cold urine and warm urine, in terms of the smell, it's not much different.
Oh, bummer.
I know. Bummer. Super bummer. So I guess, yeah, if you guys want to answer that, that's fine. If you want to just like stop talking about pee, that's cool too. I just wanted to bring that up because I thought about it. So we're going to stick with how would time travel work in the Otherverse. We're going to stick with that one. That sounds great. Any final thoughts, Malia?
This arc has been wild, and I'm excited for the end and so nervous.
Do you think it's going to keep picking up, or do you think it's going to slow down a little bit, or what do you think?
We can't slow down.
We can't slow down. All right. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. If you enjoyed this episode and you'd like to help support the podcast, please subscribe, share it with your friends, and leave a rating and review. To support our podcast, go to patreon.com/doofmedia. And if you'd like to support Wildbow as he continues to write fantastic stories, go to patreon.com/wildbow.
You can follow the pod on Twitter at Pale Comparison or send us an email at paleincomparisonpod@gmail.com. Keep an eye out for our Reddit thread in r/parahumans, where you can answer our discussion question and share your thoughts on this episode. In addition, if you would like to see all of my predictions laid out, check out our episode description for a link to a prediction tracker. Next episode, we will be covering chapter 9.x.
This week's fun fact. In 2007, Scotland spent £125,000 devising a new national slogan, and the winning entry was "Welcome to Scotland."
How is that a national slogan? Like, it's like a tourism board thing. Like, that's, to the point. But, like, what?
I mean, do we have a national slogan?
Isn't it like, E pluribus unum or some shit?
I mean, maybe it is. I think it's probably mostly a, sorry, I'm just thinking Scotland. I think it mostly is like a tourism thing.
Okay. In God We Trust is the official motto, but E pluribus unum is the de facto national motto. National travel slogan. All within your reach or something.
Really?
Maybe. Yeah. That's our tourism slogan.
Let's look up Canada's. Keep exploring. I like that.
Ooh, that's nice.
That's kind of cool, actually. Good job, Canada. And then just to keep our fellow podcasters, let's look up Australia. It's probably like try not to die. Oh, okay, no, it's not, but it's don't go small.
Oh, that's fun.
That sounds like Texas.
I mean, yes.
Don't go small.
This one, another one for Australia that says, "There's nothing like Australia."
I mean, that's fucking true.
Which is pretty great.
That is pretty great. That's good. All right. Well, have a good week, everybody, and don't go small.
I'm dying. Goodbye.
Goodbye.